I'm Kevin O'Leary, you know, and you love him. O'Leary Ventures Chairman, Shark Tank investor, so much more. Kevin, what does your gut tell you how tomorrow goes?
Binary outcome. Going to be decided by 3 or 4 in the morning. That's my guess, like everybody else is guessing. I'm in the camp that says the swing states all go to one side or the other. I don't trust polling anymore. I've even looked at private polling data. And the problem I've learned, just as an investor and investing in some of this stuff, is that the actual panels that are done either online or by cell phone are very small. So if you're polling a county and only getting 1,200 people, your margin for error is over 4%, and no candidate's more than 2% ahead. It's useless data. So my gut tells me people have decided you've got really a different way to look at these two candidates in terms of the direction they want to take the country on so many different issues. And I think you're going to find out tomorrow sometime, maybe between 1 and 3 in the morning, it's all one side or the other. And I really believe that to be the case. So pollsters, they got to find a new career. Call me. I might give you a job somewhere.
Let me ask you a little bit about what's happening in the markets. As you see, the Dow is down about 360 some odd points. There are a lot of factors at play here. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but we are seeing interest rates, which had backed up pretty prohibitively, I think as high as 4.36%. We're under 4.30% on a 10-year. I don't know if that's telling you anything, but is it telling you anything?
Well, here's what it's telling us all. Number one is it's very rare times when the Fed is overshadowed by another event, and that's exactly what's happened here. The election is overshadowing everything. And there's a lot of uncertainty, as we've been talking about for days now. Markets, including the Treasury markets, don't like uncertainty, and we've got it. So I think things will settle down a little bit. Also, that jobs number that just came out, softer than many had anticipated, including me, and a lot of Boeing noise in there. And so as people start to think about what the Fed's going to do, I'm not sure everybody's in the 50 basis point camp reduction. I think more like 25, maybe, or maybe even nothing for now while they try and figure it out. So all of this is just uncertainty. I bought some more T-bills today, took advantage of this, said, hey, I like T-bills during uncertain times. A little casherino interest, 4.62%, I'll take it.
Yeah, guaranteed by Uncle Sam. Kevin, let me get a quick take on what Donald Trump has said if he loses, that there'll be a depression, that there'll be a market crash. What do you think of that?
Donald being the Donald, you got to vote one way or the other based on policy because both sides are being absolutely crazy. You know, the thing that I take solace in if Trump wins is that he's surrounded himself, if there's a Trump 2.0, better people around him. The transition team headed by the Cantor Fitzgerald guy, I had a chance to speak with him. He is really focusing on AAA players that are policy focused. That's great. I think that's, everybody trusts him as a bipartisan guy. The rhetoric has been insane. The Nazi hunting stuff and then the firing squad stuff. You got to let all that go and decide which basket of policy do you want? Do you want a top-down economy where Harris is going to say, look, I'm going to tax everybody at 28%, and I'll pick the winners, like, the CHIPS and Science Act, or I'll decide who gets the money? Or do you want jump ball, where the corporate tax rates are lower and every 11th sector competes? That's sort of more of the Trump camp. Less regulation. The rest, everybody chillax. I mean, Trump is not going to stop talking the way he talks. He's been doing it for 9 years. I mean, it's just, he's never going to change. So get over it.
All right. Got it. Howard, I think when you were referring to Howard, it was Howard Lutnick, a Cantor Fitzgerald, of course, is
yes, Howard's the guy. I called him myself.
Team players, right. Got it.
Yeah, but this time he's the right guy. Everybody likes that guy, and everybody he calls is saying, look, I'd like to be a policy-based guy, and he's handpicking these people. So it's not the crazy stuff that happened last time. You're going to get a better team.
All right.
It's going to be a lot more thoughtful. So if you vote with Trump, you'll get, Trump 2.0 is not going to be as nuts. That's what I think.
All right. There you go. Kevin, always good seeing you, my friend. Kevin O'Leary.